Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host Boise and this is NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. This is the first NXT UK pay-per-view and my god, what a show we got. First crownings of the first ever NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Pete Dunne's legendary title reign on the line against Joe Coffey. We had a new arrival come onto the scene, a shock arrival. We had a brilliant women's championship match and much more. So let's just get straight on with it. This is NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. So we kicked off the show with what I could possibly class as the best opening match in a pay-per-view I have seen in a long time. It was Mustache Mountain versus Liverpool's #1 Zack Gibson and his tag team partner James Drake, and this was a bloody school of how wrestling should be. Tag team wrestling in the UK is off the charts and these two teams just showed exactly what they can do. It was fantastic and I honestly stated Zack Gibson and James Drake were perfect in this whole match. You had it from the start. The crowd was ready. They love Moustache Mountain and Moustache Mountain's popularity is not going to simmer down anytime soon. But James Drake and Zack Gibson have got this good tag team partnership. It's brilliant. It's just well worked. It's well engineered. And it just they do what they need to do and they put on a fantastic match. Their selling is brilliant. Moustache Mountain, Tyler Bates is an absolutely skilled superstar and I cannot wait to see him on the main roster. Zack Gibson, my god, he had the crowd booing him from the start of the match, and by the end the match was so good they had the crowd cheering for both teams. That just shows you how much respect the crowd had for both teams. But yes, it was a bit of a shock victory, but Zack Gibson and his partner James Drake became the first ever NXT UK champions, and this was all in about a 30-45 minute match, which literally was non-stop from start to finish. Me and Mr. J were legitimately watching this going, this is the best tag team match we have seen in a long time, and that's exactly what you want to get. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna say how the matches are gonna go. I'm just gonna give the results and I'm gonna give points, and this match gets a 9 out of 10. It was that good of a match. It was a great starting match and it just did exactly what you wanted it to do. Next up we had a singles match where we saw Devlin versus Travis Banks. Now this has all been building up for a couple of weeks now on NXT UK. Travis Banks was getting into the ballroom and he got attacked by Devlin before the show even started. They showed that on the kickoff show, and when the match started Travis Banks was not going to waste any time. The match didn't even officially start at this point. That's exactly what happened. It was Travis wanted to get revenge. Devlin used everything in his power to overcome it because Travis injured his leg when Devlin attacked him earlier on in the day, and Travis Banks got carried away from the stage. Obviously, the officials had a backup plan, and who did we get? None other than Balor Club itself's own leader, Finn Balor, and it was great. It's the master versus the student, and I thought this was a really good match. Mr. J wasn't too hyped because like he stated, this is a main roster superstar taking on an NXT superstar. There's gonna be a, unbiased selection on who's going to win this, but I think Finn Balor put on a fantastic match. His selling was really good and Devlin held his own against Finn Balor, and that's a big statement. Yes, he didn't win the match, Balor won the match, and that was going to be an obvious choice from the start, but actually having Devlin hold his own was a good way to make a superstar feel bigger than he needs to, at this level. He's a beginner, he's at NXT UK, and this holding his own against a Raw main roster, one of the lads who was up there with some of the biggest stars, and holding his own, that is just well put together booking for me. So I'm going to give this match a I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I know Mr. J wasn't too impressed. He was happy that Finn Balor was there, but he really didn't find that the match was as, you know, but there was nothing let on the line in this match. But for me, I thought it was a great storytelling way, but I think I was hoping they would have held on to this match until Devlin is actually called up to the main roster and then he takes on Balor. That would have been interesting, but yeah, I thought this was a good match. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, we had a really surprisingly good match between Dave Mastiff versus Eddie Dennis. This was, for me, a fantastic match. It was a non-disqualification match, aka it's a hardcore match. Why don't I just call it a hardcore match? That was something me and Mr. J were talking about all night. See, if it's a no DQ match, just call it a hardcore match. That's all you need to do. I know we have this idea of that hardcore matches, you have blood and all this lot. It doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about that because the fans already know. No DQ matches are just hardcore matches, but what WWE call them. Just call it what it is. But yeah, it was a fun match. It was really well put together. There was a lot of times where Eddie Dennis was able to pick up Dave Mastiff, and I honestly, you saw Eddie's legs shake. Dave is not a light guy. He even admits he's a big fella, but that absolute heaps of strength that Eddie Dennis must have to be able to pull off, not just once or twice, but 3 times being able to pick up Mastiff is a hell of an accomplishment. That match was hard hitting, it was fun, it always felt like it could go either way, and I was like, oh, Eddie's won this. I honestly, while watching this match last night, I was like, he's going to win this. This is going to be how Mastiff loses his streak. But no, Mr. J pointed out, there's a table in the corner, no one's gone through it, this match isn't over. And what happened? Mastiff put Eddie through the table and Mastiff won the match. It was such a good match. It wasn't as long as the other matches on the show, but you had pretty much nearly every weapon in it. You had chair, you had kendo sticks, you had steel stairs, you had the table, you just had everything you wanted to see, and you had 2 guys who were able to pull off big moves. Mastiff pulled off moves which you just don't expect a big guy like himself to be able to do. I'm going to give this match a solid 8 out of 10. It was fun to watch. It was a great match, and I enjoyed every part of it. Next up, we had the NXT United Kingdom Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley, the current champion, versus Toni Storm, the Mae Young winner. She got to select any title she wanted to go for, and she selected the NXT United Kingdom Championship, and my God, they had a hell of a match. I think me and Mr. J were just impressed on how good both women really are. Again, I think this was a much better match than what we got when they both went out for it in the NXT United Kingdom Women's Tournament, and Rhea Ripley won it back in November. This match was a lot better. Both women just, it was such a back and forth match, and my God, Rhea Ripley's selling was fantastic. Toni Storm's selling was great. Rhea Ripley, aggressiveness in the ring just sold throughout the whole night. And Toni Storm, I love watching Toni Storm wrestle. She is the best women's wrestler in all of NXT, and including NXT UK and NXT over in the States. She's that good, is that woman. She's so good. She could easily go into the main roster. And it was a brilliant match. Toni did get the victory. She is now our new United Kingdom Women's Champion. Brilliant choice. I think she deserves it. I think she's, like I said, she is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. And if the rumours are true, and WWE have managed to get the signature of Viper, oh my God, I've seen those 2 fight, and those matches will be amazing. Toni Storm versus Viper. Oh mate, that's just gonna be a legendary type of matches. That's gonna be up there with Lita Trish Stratus levels of great matches for WWE to get their hands on. I'm gonna give this match an 8 out of 10. I absolutely loved it, but the possibilities for the NXT Women's division is just high for me right now. Last but not least, it was our main event, and it was Pete Dunne versus Joe Coffey. Now, the build up for this has been going on for weeks since Gallows had formed. That was their goals. Joe Coffey had one goal and one goal in mind, to get his hands on the WWE United Kingdom Championship. And this was a brutal match, and both men definitely showed how good it was. I was shocked how long this match went on, and it was a slow start match, but it got better and better and better while time went on, and that's a sign of a fantastic match. Not just that, it went on for nearly I think it was 35 minutes that match was on. I'm sure it was about 35 minutes, and it was just such a brilliant, like I said, slow build up. Then it just built up really well, and it was just at that high tempo, even right to the end. It looked like any man could win it. I was expecting Wolfgang or Mark to come out and interfere to help Joe Coffey, but no, Pete Dunne did get it, and it was fantastic where it was a back and forth between both men, and both men just... Joe Coffey's at another level. Joe Coffey is just showing exactly how good he is, and I cannot wait till he has another opportunity at this title. After the match, Pete Dunne was absolutely enjoying the victory, and boom, the music hit, and who did we get come out? NXT UK's newest signee, Walter. It's the worst kept secret in WWE that Walter was there. It was already announced he was going to NXT UK, and he turned up, and this lad he's going to be a massive name in NXT UK. He's already a massive name over here in the UK independent scene, but my god, the stare down between him and Pete Dunne was fantastically put together, and then Joe Coffey tried to get in the middle between both of them, and Walter just gives him a big boot, and Joe Coffey's just laid out flat, and that is just a sign of Walter's going to be the next big challenger. And he could possibly be the next United Kingdom champion. Oof, we'll have to wait and see. But this final match gets another 8 out of 10. Brilliantly well put together. Great pay-per-view. I loved every single part of it. And there you go, guys. That was NXT TakeOver Blackpool. My god, what a show it was. I absolutely loved it. I thought every match was fantastic. Even the Finn Balor surprise match was well put together, and I can't, there's no criticism. The matches which needed the longest times got the longest time, like the main event and the tag team matches. They definitely needed those big amounts of time to just show exactly what they could do. And the best thing was about the whole show, the crowd was cheering, Vince McMahon, are you watching? And Vince McMahon himself tweeted online and said, yes, I'm watching, I'm impressed. And that just shows you everything about NXT UK. That is exactly what you want to hear. For me, I'm going to give it a final score of 8 out of 10. It's a brilliant pay-per-view. It could it be the best pay-per-view we're going to get in January? We'll have to wait and see. We still have TakeOver Phoenix, and we still have the Royal Rumble, one of my favourite pay-per-views of the year. So it's exciting times. January is starting to look more and more like WWE are going to have a fantastic start to this new year. So what was your favourite part of NXT TakeOver Blackpool? Leave it in the comments below, guys. And if you do like our videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell to keep notified. And if you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boise88. If you want to follow the channel on Twitter, it's at Smack Talk YouTube. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.